Right, I'm Mark, and this is my first film review. The frighteningly average film review. Right, if I had a PC and was able to freeze frame that, and I would put maybe, the big letters, frighteningly awful film review, but maybe with the dripping blood and stuff. But, I don't have the technology, can't do that. Won't be able to edit myself, so all this will be shown its entirety. All my fuck ups will be shown as they are, and that's what makes it frighteningly average, is that there's, well, it's just all done on the phone. Right, it's actually my second video if you include the introduction I done last week. The film I'm reviewing was it's based on a book by, a short story by a guy called Joe R. Lansdale, who also done a short story. He also done a short story which was made into an episode of Masters of Horror called Incident on and Off a Mountain Road, which was directed by Don Coscarelli, who also done this film I'm reviewing now. It's, like I said, it's directed by Don Coscarelli, who is most famous for the Phantasm series. He wrote and directed 4 of them. Apparently there's a 5th one in the works. Don't know whether it's true or not, don't know whether he's involved. I kind of hope he is, but we'll see. It stars the awesome Bruce Campbell, who is most famous for The Evil Dead. He's a character actor. He's in lots of B movies. He's in over 100 films. He's also a Maniac Cop, Bill Stiggs, Maniac Cop. He's in loads of things. He's written autobiographies and all the rest of it. I don't know if I don't understand. The Evil Dead, the original, is called The Evil Dead. Then you got the sequel, Sam Raimi done the original trilogy. The second one's just called Evil Dead. They've got Army of Darkness, and even the remake's called just Evil Dead. I don't know why they dropped the word "the." I don't know, it's one of these things that kind of annoys me. But anyway, he's in the Evil Dead trilogy. It also co-stars Ozzie Davis, who the only other thing I can actually think of him in is he's one of the 2 old people that are bickering old people and Do the Right Thing, Spike Lee's film. He's in that. So anyway, I'm going to get on to the film, what it's about. Right, this is it's quite a weird one. It's
What's the film called?
Oh, I've not even said it. It's
For 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Bubba Ho-Tep. I should have actually mentioned that. It's Bubba Ho-Tep, Don Coscarelli. It's that's a very strange one. It's about Elvis Presley, except it's not Elvis Presley like you would know him. He's in a retirement home. He's in a care home. He's in his 60s and he spends most of his day in bed complaining about his pecker problems, his dick problems, and how he's got a growth on it, and longing for his wife, who thinks he's dead. It's also he's been confused with a guy called Sebastian Haff, who appears. He switched places with him when was tired of fame. He decided to switch places. He was the best Elvis Presley impersonator. He was like the best, and this was Elvis's opinion himself. This was his opinion. So they switched places. He became Elvis Presley because he was so good at it, and ended up dying on the shitter due to so many drugs and so forth. Sue me. And he became Sebastian Haff, doing impersonations until he broke his hip, and it became infected and all the rest of it, and he ended up in a nursing home full of crazy characters, including JFK, who is also still alive and full of his conspiracy theories. Who's played by Ozzie Davis, and if you know who Ozzie Davis is, you'll realise that he's a black guy. So you're probably thinking, what is a black guy doing playing John Fitzgerald Kennedy? Get to that in a minute. Right, right. Oh, there might be spoilers. Right, so I'm going to come to a spoiler. So I don't know. I'll just put my hands over my ears when there's a spoiler, and I'll take them away. Or is that gay? I don't know. Right. Anyway, he says that there's
Don't need to do this part
no.
of it. You hand on yours.
No, I know, yeah, it's stupid, isn't it? Anyway, there's a spoiler here, slight spoiler. John F. Kennedy says he's a black guy because he was died as in made a different colour. He's died as a black person to make up for all the conspiracies. Also, they drilled a hole in his head, took his brain out, and replaced it with a bag of sand. Right, if this is crazy, that's almost the point of this film. It's complete insanity. It's also quite a slow film. It's quite a talky film, but I should also mention that it's a horror comedy. My thing with horror comedies is sometimes it doesn't work. They either get so insanely stupid and silly that the horror doesn't work, or it gets too gratuitously violent and gory that the comedy doesn't work. Now, this is a very silly film, and you can't even explain how silly it is, but it just works. There is a creepiness to it. I should also mention that in this film, during in the retirement home, there's mysterious things happening. The residents, the old people, are dying off very, very quickly. Maybe more quickly than they should. It's like one minute they're walking about, next minute they die, and it turns out there's been a mummy, an ancient Egyptian mummy. It's been resurrected and is stalking the halls of the retirement home and killing the residents by as JFK says in the film, putting his mouth to their asshole and sucking out their soul. The parts with the mummy, the Bubba Ho-Tep. Bubba is apparently at the start of the film is a redneck or a southern gentleman, whereas Ho-Tep was a name, a surname, an Egyptian surname for Egyptian priests. It was an Egyptian surname. So when this Egyptian mummy is resurrected, he's roaming the halls and killing old people. So the parts with the mummy where he's killing the resident that are actually quite creepy. There is an eeriness to it that I think works really, really well. It's not. It is a horror film. It's not gory. There's no gore in it whatsoever. It just relies on the creepiness, especially towards the end, which I'll get towards it. I'll get towards that later on. The humour in it is pretty bizarre. I think it's really, really funny. Some of the lines in it are brilliant, especially the ones by JFK. It's really, really bizarre film. Like I said, in most films, I don't think I think the comedy goes over the top, or the horror's too gratuitous and they don't necessarily combine. I'm not a big fan of horror comedies because I don't necessarily think they work. I think this gets it perfectly. I think it is a really, really funny film. It is also that really creepy way. Towards the end, when Elvis and JFK they find out what's going on, after seeing the inscription in the toilet, they see the Egyptian scripture, they find out what's going on, and they decide to take care of things. So they wait for his next attack, and the the image of them getting set for the attack is it's one of the funniest images in the film. It's absolutely hilarious. I'm not going to spoil that for anybody that's not seen the film yet. It's brilliant. It's one of the funniest parts of the film to me. Anyway, when they go outside the retirement centre, they wait for the Bubba Ho-Tep mummy, and that's quite an eerie scene where he kind of disappears when he's attacking them and all the rest of it. The one flaw I think in the film for me, it is a really good film. I really, really enjoy it. The one flaw, I do think that the end scene where they're fighting them goes on just a little bit too long. Just a little bit. Apart from that, really good. Another thing I really like about it is the music. You know, when it goes back to the flashback, it has this really good guitar theme. It's kind of just the same thing that's used throughout the film. I really like that. And another thing, I don't know if you noticed this, Scott, that there's not a single bit of Elvis music used in the film.
Yeah.
Even though it's about Elvis, there's not a single bit of Elvis music in it. I noticed that. But yeah, it's a really well done film. I really, really like it. There's also got some kind of sad parts on it as well. There's a kind of sadness there. Sometimes in there. And as some of the lines that are just sometimes a little bit crude. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention. There's a cameo as like I think he's like a therapist, as an actor called Reggie Bannister. I think it's awesome. He's in all the Phantasm films. Good seeing a little cameo from him in it. But Don Coscarelli is one of my directors I really, really like, and I think it's a really good film. And I was going to rate things from 1 to 10. I'm not good at things like that, so I'll just say whether I would recommend it, maybe recommend it, or not recommend it at all. But it's a definite recommend to me. It gets me in a real. I think it's a really funny film. It really makes me laugh. And Bruce Campbell, the guy that plays Elvis, I think he's only in his 40s in this film. He's one of Sam Raimi's favourites. Like I said, he's in The Evil Dead, and I think he's got cameos in most Sam Raimi films. He's brilliant. He's like 40 years old playing a 60-year-old man. He's pretty much, he's kind of depressed most of the time. He's mostly complaining how he can't get it up. So it's the nurses putting the cream on his growth. That's a really funny scene. But for me, I think JFK makes the film for me. Some of these lines in his deadpan face, just really, really make me laugh. Well, that's my first film review done. I think that's it. I think I should wrap it up.
Alright.
I just watched this on Blu-ray last night. Just go through my head of things to say. I'll actually be making a Facebook page, which will be called Frighteningly Average Film Reviews, and my next film reviews coming up. Like I said, I'll be taking requests. I didn't get very many requests, but hopefully I'll get more requests.
Actually, you got one.
Well, yeah, I've been getting a few, but I'll be the more I get, the more decisions I could make. You know, if I just get the one, it's like, well, at least I like to have the choice. So hopefully, I'm going to wrap this up, and hopefully my next one should come. I'll hopefully get either one a week, one a fortnight. Hopefully at least a couple of months. But we'll see what happens. Again, I hope I'm speaking clearly enough for everybody to hear. And I think we'll wrap that up. How long is the video?
30 minutes, 2 minutes
really?
short. 2 minutes shorter than your introduction.
I'm really surprised. It only seemed minutes long. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with the film. And I'm really happy to get this series of reviews going. So I'll start thinking of my next film. And let's see how it goes.
Alright.
Right.
Leave the sleeves
Ta-da!
alone.